Namaskaram. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Uh, Dear Sri Senthil Ganesh ji, Dr. Sudhir Raj ji, Dr. Prasanna Rao ji, Dr. Ram Manohar ji, and all august audience. I should not also forget mentioning the foremost principal who has initiated this activity of Samsiddhi, Dr. Raghuram Bhatt. He is also here, I believe. So all these dignitaries, students, friends, this is for me, this is an opportunity to have a direct interaction with the fraternity from top to bottom. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I must appreciate this unique activity of Samsiddhi, and which is bringing uh, the audience from wide areas, from different countries, and from all fraternities, including Ayurveda, including students, teachers, and other than Ayurveda also. I am learned. I have been told that there are so many people uh, who is doing some scientific work in different areas, but are interested in Ayurveda. They also have participated in these series of events, and more than 10,000 people have participated in these 13 days. So this is commendable, and it is having a far-reaching impact. We all know that in our sector, in the sector of Ayurveda, the crisis is quality of education. I remember long back in 1978, uh, Padma Shri Dr. P.R. Krishna Kumar ji have started this college, and later on, the RVS Education Trust is managing this college. But you can see that this college has established benchmark of quality education, and that is commendable. Uh, Dr. Ram Manohar ji and persons like His Eminence are product of this college, so they must be proud alumni of this institution. And I must compliment for this quality contribution to the education sector, and then becoming an epicenter of best people in the sector. So this is my compliment, and I can see that there is a lot of quality thing happened in the course of development of this college. My specific thanks to and compliment to Padma Shri Dr. P.R. Krishna Kumar ji for innovative thinking. He is the master of great ideas and great. He is a thinker actually. So he has contributed a lot to this sector. Still, he is contributing. I am in touch with him. He is uh, he has convinced Government of India to do some experiments in the light of new education policy, to do such experiments in Ayurveda sector also. So this is his commitment. He is still committed, and I learned that today because of his some other engagement, he is not able to participate, but he has sent his blessings. So this is the area where what I wanted to acknowledge and thank. I was also suggested by the organizers that I should communicate something about the activities being undertaken by Ministry of Ayush, uh, particularly Ministry of Ayush, particularly in the uh, mitigation of COVID-19 crisis. So I would like to share some information before I communicate this information to you. I also have some very interesting observation that, and this is a very good Tadvidya Sambhasha that I have learned that particularly from this area of your college and surrounding colleges, there are some radical Ayurvedists who always put comments on Ayush Ministry's social media post. They always have some or the other reservations, so they always have some advice, and they understand that whatever they say is only science, and rest whoever does whatever, there is no science. So this is, I would say, this is an Ayurvedic extremism or radical Ayurveda. I would say that I always see this particularly from some aggressive and active participants. But my advice to them, because I can see their names, they are here and they are participating here, I can see their names. So through this platform, I want to convey that in a democratic country like us, we should have different ideas, diverse ideas, and diverse modalities of doing same thing, and that is the beauty. I would like to cite one example that in our Ayurvedic practices, principles are same, but when you go to the extreme north, extreme east, extreme west, extreme south, or central India, we have different practices. If you ask an expert of Panchakarma in Madhya Pradesh, they have different understanding of and practice of Panchakarma, and in and Dakshin Bharat in South India, there is a different practice of Panchakarma. So Shastra is saying why there are different practices. It can be a matter of question, or it can be a matter of understanding. Then I would like to compare this fact as a scientific fact, that for any science, vibrancy is in it stays into it in its dynamism. So if a science is dynamic, means it is continuously evolving. It is like a flowing water there, where uh, the living creatures can grow, like fishes can grow in a water which is a flowing water. But if there is a dead water, nothing can grow there. So we should not just say that whatever is written in Shastra, nothing beyond that Shastra. It is a wrong approach. We have to always think in a dynamism. We have to think in a more inclusive manner, and we have to be ready to uh, to be to get exposed to the modern science and critics. They have right to criticize us, and we have right to establish evidences, and we have right to look at the perspective of modern science and understanding our mechanics of our science. So friends, my humble advice is, it is good to be critic, but it is not good to be critic for everything without having putting our intelligentsia, without putting our mind. So this could be a take-home message from me. Now about the COVID-19 crisis, you may heard that Ministry of Ayush did a lot of things. But before I go for that, I want to clear one doubt, that in particularly in Kerala and in Tamil Nadu, there is a confusion whether Ayush practitioners, Ayurveda practitioners, are allowed to treat COVID patients or not. And this is a big question, and on this platform I want to clarify, yes, they are absolutely allowed. Nobody can stop this. And if you go to Ayush website, there is a guideline published by Government of India of the COVID management, Ayush guidelines. These are separate guidelines of Ayurveda practitioners, Unani practitioners, Siddha practitioners, or homeopathy practitioners, even yoga practitioners. So these guidelines are formally vetted, approved by Government of India, and through this guideline, it is advised that an Ayurveda practitioner or Ayush practitioners of any stream of Ayush can treat a COVID patient, but with the consent of the patient, with the consent of end user, and they should try to treat mild to moderate patient, and then if a patient is in crisis, they should be referred to standard care of facilities, or and there are some good examples in some states, like in state of Gujarat, in state of Madhya Pradesh. There are examples that Ayurveda practitioners were formally deployed into COVID care hospitals, and then in these hospitals, when standard management of allopathy is being provided, the patients were given this opportunity to opt for the Ayurvedic treatment intervention, and with their consent, and the tremendous results are there. And there are some other examples, like in Delhi, Olida Institute of Ayurveda, or Chaudhary Brahma Prakash Mahavidyalaya, or the Tibia College. All these three institutes, Ayurvedic institutes in Delhi, are converted into a COVID care hospital. And there, these patients who is admitted, they are getting standalone Ayurveda intervention. So they are not getting allopathic intervention unless there is an emergency. And in emergency, these patients are being referred. But you will be happy to know that only 1% patients has to be referred. And there are so many such good things happening that I would like to mention and appraise the uh, August audience. For example, in by Ministry of Ayush, we have actually instituted an interdisciplinary task force to deal with the and to find and to contribute into the COVID management. Dr. Ram Manohar Ji is one of the member of that important task force, and he is also involved into several other different such important tasks, and he is aware about that what has happened, that we have at Government of India level, we were getting a lot of suggestions, a lot of claims that we have found a cure, so it should be tested, it should be tried. So Government of India have created a mechanism initially in the month of March and April, later part of April. We have created that mechanism. In this mechanism, we have created a web-based interface in which anybody can submit their observation, their claim, with details, and then there was a mechanism to validate or to examine those claims. And you won't believe that there are more than 5,000 such advices and claims have been received through this web-based interface, and we called it crowdsource platform. So this is not like to collect money through crowdsource, but to collect ideas through crowdsource. And out of these 5,000 plus ideas and claims, more than 3,500 were from Ayurveda. So it is very interesting that. And then again, we have got a lot of radical Ayurvedists who were behind us, and they said, we can guarantee that this approach will work. You just try. One Babaji called me. He said that you just place me in a corona ward. I'm not afraid by the getting infected with corona, and I guarantee that all of them will be cured in 2 hours. So those kind of claims we were receiving, and then we were getting a lot of such phone calls and a lot of pressure. And but then we did a very good scientific work, and through this good scientific screening, and so you won't believe, but at least as long as 40 projects came up from this exercise. But 40 is very less as compared to 3,500 claim. But 40 is a good number of having repurposing, of finding some therapeutic intervention for COVID-19 management. This is one aspect. Another aspect is that Ayush CSIR collaboration has happened, and this collaborative partnership has created a very good ecosystem for world-class randomized controlled trials for 2 purposes. One is prophylaxis of ashwagandha as compared to hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine is also being used as a prophylaxis and add-on both. So this study is going on, and we have initial trend, and it says that ashwagandha is at par with or even better than hydroxychloroquine. This is very important observation. And then there are 3 more candidates, that is Guduchi, Pipali, Yasti Madhu, and Ayush 64. These 3 candidates were to be used as an add-on therapy for COVID patients, for mild to moderate patients. So several, and then this is Ayush CSIR study. There is another intervention is prophylaxis, prophylactic studies, is observation studies, and you won't believe that these studies have started at 51 sites across the country, and it is for all different interventions: Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, homeopathy, all interventions different, but 51 sites with the sample size of more than 2,200,000. So this is another vertical. There is one more vertical of initiatives of Ayush, is launching this Ayush Sanjeevani app. You all must be aware about this app. This Ayush Sanjeevani app is actually is to look at impact assessment of Ayush intervention, of immunity guidelines and what happened. So you may be aware that our Honorable Prime Minister have mentioned about Ayush guidelines at several platforms. And the history is that initially in the last week of April, Honorable Prime Minister did have an interaction through video conference, an interaction with the sector. So more than 55 people have participated directly, have one-to-one interaction with Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Dr. P.R. Krishna Kumarji was also there into that interaction. As a follow-up of that interaction, Government of India have issued an immunity promoter self-care guideline. So it's all self-care based on empirical evidences. And then Honorable Prime Minister has actually on 13th of May, when lockdown 1 was over and lockdown 2 was announced, he addressed to the nation, and during his address he has mentioned about following Ayush advisory, taking hot water, taking turmeric milk, and taking Ayush Kada, etc. So, and then he in Man Ki Baat 2 times he has mentioned, and he has mentioned on international platforms also when he spoke with international community. So we have decided to see the impact, to study the impact of this. So this kind of study is usually very rare to look at, but we have decided to look at this, and then we have decided to launch this application Ayush Sanjeevani, and decided that and decided that it will be sufficient to get 5 million, roughly 50 lakh data sets. But until 31st July, we have received more than 15 million data sets. So in place of 5 million, now we have 15 million data sets, 1.5 crore data sets. So now 31st July, we have taken out first set of data set. Application is still going on. Still there is a downloads happening. More than 550,000, 5,50,000 downloads have happened, and still it is going on. But we have until 30th July, we have taken out this data set. Data cleaning is going on, and hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we will be able to have the inferences of the social study of impact assessment of Ayush intervention into public health. So this is first ever kind of this much of big data is now available, and we are trying to get inferences from that. There is another thing is that in Delhi, All India Institute of Ayurveda has signed an MOU with Delhi Police, and as a part of this MOU, they have started an abhiyan known as Ayu Raksha Abhiyan. So this Ayu Raksha Abhiyan is providing an immunity kit with having Chavanprash, Sanshamani Bati, Anu Tailam, and Ayush Kwath. Ayush Kwath is like an immunity guideline. We have recommended this kwath is made from twak, that is dalchini or cinnamon, tulsi, sunthi, and marich. So this kwath, it should be taken with either munakka or raisins or jaggery, and it is very much popular now. And now we have also standardized it through our pharmacopoeia commission. So this kit were given to 80,000 Delhi police persons, and they have been followed for, still they are being followed, but after 2 months there is an interim analysis came in, and these all are frontline warriors. They are working in fields, and when we started study, there were a lot of positive cases coming up in Delhi police, and after 2 months, baseline was 20th May, and interim analysis is 20th July, 2 months after, and the incidence came down 4 times, more than 4 times. And in Delhi, general population incidence went up by 2.5 times. So this is a clear-cut evidence. Such big number of participants, 80,000 participants, do speak by itself. But there's another inference is very important. Another inference is that in general population in Delhi, the mortality rate is more than 2.9%. And in across the country, the mortality rate is 2.1% as of now. And in this prophylaxis study, the mortality rate came down to only 0.47%. So this is so interesting, and this is so encouraging. And we have seen some other good interim analysis. For example, in Rajasthan, in Jodhpur, Rajasthan Ayurved Vishwavidyalaya Jodhpur, they did a study on corona patients by giving Guduchi and as compared to hydroxychloroquine on patients with mild to moderate symptoms, and they saw that the hospital time reduced by 5 days average. So all these patients with Guduchi, they became negative in average 5 days, and then HCQ patients were becoming negative from 10 plus days. So 5 days difference is there. and they did not go to any complication. All of them did relieve. There's another evidence is that in Delhi, in Oli Institute of Ayurveda, there is a COVID care center. So they have everyday COVID patients. They are managing COVID patients. But it is interesting that in across the country, across the nation, 13% of health staff are getting infected with COVID when they are serving COVID patients. They are having first hand exposure to COVID. And in Oli Institute, none of health professionals got any infection of corona because they are also getting this Ayuraksha kit. So those are the evidences are very impressive evidences are there. So now we have created an interdisciplinary committee with the chairmanship of Dr. V.M. Katoch, who is the former DG of ICMR, with scientists of different fraternities, top scientists of the country, and we requested them that looking at these evidences, looking at the evidences on earlier evidences of Guduchi, Pipali, Ashwagandha, Ayush 64, we should look at exploring the possibility of inclusion of these interventions into national protocols of COVID management. So now we have prepared that. They have submitted this report. We have submitted to Niti Aayog also, and we are awaiting the response of Niti Aayog. Hopefully, I cannot say yes, but hopefully in next few days you will see that in national protocol interventions of Ayurveda and yoga may be included formally. So those kind of great things are happening into this COVID management area. There are some other thing also that Ayush professionals are trained for treating COVID patients. So there is an iGOT platform. You can type on Google. iGOT is a training modules available for Ayush doctors and Ayush paramedicals for COVID management. And then they are categorized as Ayush professionals are eligible for frontline management or clinical management of COVID patients, and they get free training on this platform, iGOT platform. So you can voluntarily go to that platform and upgrade yourself and get this training, and there is a certification also is available. It is free. So on this iGOT platform, more than 250,000 Ayush professionals are trained, and more than 40,000 professionals are deployed across the country. So the popular belief is that Ayush is not on board, but it is not true. Ayush is very much on board in the form of human interventions of human resource, in the form of helping the people for immunity or helping the people for COVID management. There are different conditions in different states based on the approach of the states. But irrespective of all this, there are small or big interventions are already going on. In Madhya Pradesh and in Gujarat, they are the most impressive interventions are there. And in Haryana, in Punjab, in Delhi, in some other states, they are very good. In some states, it's still they are considering to involve. So we are trying to convince them that adding Ayush intervention will add the quality, because you can see that earlier the mortality rate was roughly 4%, then it is coming down. So coming down has also an inference based on our Ayush Sanjeevani study, that people are using more and more self-care immunity or taking something for the immunity, and that also can be corroborated by 4 times sales of Chyawanprash, 5 times sales of Ashwagandha, 10 times sales of Guduchi in our country, because people are taking it. So probably there is an inference that taking these immunity promoter things are helping the people. Even if they are infected, they are not going to severe. They are mostly asymptomatic or mild symptoms. So those are the things uh, are happening. And at the end, I think I will address just one suggestion of Dr. Raghuram Bhatt, and I'm just trying to uh, publish this data so that we can share among our fellow Vaidyas and remove their misconception. And Dr. Raghuramji, I am happy to share this information that we have created an ecosystem of publication into high impact journals. For example, this study of Rajasthan Ayurveda University is already available on preprint version on BMJ. So probably it will be published finally on BMJ, but they accepted for preprint version, so it is available. And then we have created this ecosystem that all these data sets, we have involved PHFI, Public Health Foundation of India, we have involved Tata Institute of Social Sciences, we have involved SVSI University, and there are so many academic partners we have. Prasanna ji is here. Prasanna ji's institute is also participating in these studies. So the mechanism is that whatever the inferences are there, whatever the publication draft is there, it is to be vetted by group of scientists chaired by Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, the Vice Chairman of UGC, and a team. And then it is sent to one of these experts, and experts are connected with the authors, and experts are actually hand-holding the authors to improvise the script, and then to get it published into high impact journals. And that is the ecosystem. And I'm sure that through this approach, in next few months, as long as around 100 publications will come up, and that is a big thing, and that is happening because of the support of all fraternities, including Ram Manohar ji and Krishna Kumar ji and all experts of the country, and even basic science experts, even allopathic experts, who is a strong believer of Ayurveda. So you can see all these people present into different committees and different task force and different interdisciplinary committees. And so this ecosystem is now working. And what we have seen at the end, what I want to convey is that we people are really good. Our fraternity are doing excellent work. What is lacking? Lacking is training in research. Lacking is, confidence to the self. Lacking is quality medicine, availability quality medicine, because we have only few examples of best pharmacy in our country. Otherwise, there is a problem of quality medicine. So quality medicine, lacking of self-confidence, particularly lacking of research training in research. So those are the areas that we need to address, and we would, as a follow-up of this experience of Corona crisis, we will definitely address this simple but interesting, very important aspects of our science. I thank you all for inviting me again, and I am sure that I tried to finish in time. I took maybe 4-5 minutes more, so I apologize. Please, I pay my regards to all, and I am sorry for taking more time. Thank you so much. Namaskar.